Hello, chefs. This is Chef's PSA. I'm your host, André Natera. Today's episode, I have my friend and one of my favorite chefs, Rogelio Garcia, from the Michelin-starred restaurant Auro in the Napa Valley. He was recently in Austin, Texas to do a dinner, and we got to catch up. We're going to talk about everything from guest chef dinners to his cookbook, how to create your own identity as a chef, which is something I think that's very important right now, how he works in his kitchen, and what he would do if he wasn't a chef. I think you'll enjoy this one. Stay tuned. This episode of Chef's PSA is brought to you by Foods in Season. Spring is here, so it's time to bring in the heavy hitters. Think ramps, fiddlehead ferns, fresh morels, dayboat halibut, and the Wagyu of salmon, wild Columbia River king salmon. No farmed fish here ever. Just wild, just premium, just in season. If you care about quality, this is where it starts. I've been using Foods in Season for years. They always deliver. Trusted by top chefs for wild foraged and seasonal goods. You get a dedicated rep, sustainable sourcing, and overnight delivery across the country. Order today, have it on your line tomorrow. Visit foodsinseason.com and mention Chef's PSA to get free shipping plus a sample box on your first order. Chef, good to have you back, man. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me, man.
You're doing the Whirlwind Tour, so you were at Pebble Beach last weekend?
I was, yeah, Pebble Beach 2025.
Yeah, who was there?
Everybody, man. A lot of friends, a lot of colleagues, a lot of support. It was super, super amazing to be part of it. And the weather was incredible.
Yeah.
I actually went golfing for the second time in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I did all right,
Yeah?
I did all right.
Yeah, you don't play golf every weekend?
No. I go to that event. I've probably been going to that event for close to 20 years now.
Really?
I mean, I'm sorry, 10 years. 10 years.
Wow.
I think my first one was 2015.
Yeah.
And then obviously, 3-4 years that they, because of the pandemic, that, they didn't host it. And I've never golfed there. And I've, heard how amazing the golf courses are there. And we did it. And it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. No, it's a sport, man.
Yeah.
The people that, think it's not, it truly is.
You got to know what you're doing. There's a skill.
There's a skill to it. And, we met this cute couple from Atlanta who were kind of showing us the ropes. And then we invited them back to one of the events we were doing.
Yeah.
But amazing people out there, great friends, and, super excited to be out there.
What's the setup? How many days is it? And what are the different events that you're participating in?
So we went in on Thursday, which is opening night. And they do little bites. I wasn't part of that, but you're able to go as a chef and just, kind of walk through the venue.
Just a food grazer.
Right.
Yeah, different chefs, little booths.
Right.
Yeah.
So opening night's quite kind of a big deal. Friday we did our event. It was kind of the same thing, canapé, kind of walk around. And then we did a dinner the next day called Buen Provecho, so kind of celebrating Latin America flavors. And it was amazing, man.
Who was it?
It was Gilberto Cetina from LA. He got a star last year.
Yeah.
Whole box. Diego Lamar. So he does all of Gaston's restaurants.
Okay.
Kind of open, all of them through the years, and he lives in Miami. And then Mario, he's coming from Panama City. So incredible dinner. Amazing chefs in their in their own craft.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I did squab and mole.
Yeah, okay.
And then I did a small canapé bite with Mexican chocolate and caviar.
Nice.
So
was the food that you were preparing based off the book, or was it more based off the restaurant?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So the mole obviously from the book, chocolate from the book, squab a little bit more of a kind of fine dining. Obviously from California, but I think right now it's kind of blends both.
Yeah.
But everybody got a copy of the cookbook, which was super exciting, and it was so cool to cook with them.
Yeah.
Obviously, you go into a kitchen and you feel that excitement, that rush, and be able to connect with these guys was pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of them. So
me too. I was looking at all the photos. Like, these are like my friends and people that I'd like to be friends with. But the food looked great. What is what are you doing in Austin? So you're doing a dinner, which I'm going to be at. I know what you're doing in Austin,
Yeah.
but like, so you're doing this tour, right? So you got the books,
Right.
you're cooking across the country. What are you doing?
Yeah, so tomorrow night we're doing a dinner at Garrison at the Fairmont in Austin with Chef Gil and Chef John.
My old stomping grounds. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's an amazing kitchen.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's
I'm
incredible.
telling people, like, that is probably, people can often ask me, like, why'd you retire? It's like, I had a hard time going to another kitchen after that one.
Yeah.
That kitchen had everything. Is like, it's a once in a lifetime build. Everything's new. Well, I don't know about now, but perfect equipment, beautiful setup. It's like a ton of staff.
Perfect equipment, the amount of equipment, the amount of china, the staff.
Did you see their china room?
I saw the china. I mean, I don't know how many floors I walked through and saw the china. So it was pretty cool to see that. Staff was incredible.
Yeah.
The team, they have a strong team, and we're just super excited to cook tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So be there, and be in Austin. Great weather here, and the dinner is again out of the cookbook, and it's a collaboration dinner with Chef John and myself. He spent a little bit of time in San Francisco.
Did you guys cross paths there?
We did not. No. He was in San Francisco. I think I was in Napa at the time.
Yeah.
And then when I eventually went to San Francisco, he had already came to, I think he was in Austin already.
Yeah.
And so, it's a collaboration dinner. Super excited for all the guests to join.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try the food. Where else have you gone, and where else are you going to?
So I'll do something in Telluride at the end of the year. A couple, we have like 10 libraries that I'm going to be doing a small bite, talking to kids, schools, things like that, man. Back home, and then just kind of things come up, and so I'll either take them or try to push them back a little bit. But I kind of never say no, so I wanna take advantage of everything that comes. So
yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really happy that you're back, man. I tell everyone when they go to Napa, it's like, you got to meet Rogelio.
Yeah,
greatest.
Yeah.
So and your book's awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, when you were here last time, I really had a time to digest the book.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
The food is beautiful. The photos are beautiful. People should go get it.
Yeah.
Where can they get it, by the way?
Chef Rogelio Garcia.com. So there's a link there to buy the book, and you can order there and ship. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful book. Everyone should have one. Are you doing a book signing at dinner tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I have everybody's gonna get a book tomorrow night.
Okay.
So signed book there, and so man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
This episode will come out after the dinner, but go meet Chef Rogelio.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it comes out after the dinner is going to be done. I also saw that you maybe with the most recent Michelin, you guys had dinner up in Napa, up at the French Laundry.
We did,
man. All the big dogs at the table.
Did.
Who did I see? I saw like Phil Tessier there,
right?
And Bradley, yourself,
right. Yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Who was there?
Yeah. So William Bradley, Phil Tessier, Val Cantu.
Yeah.
He's a good friend, man. Yeah, I love Val. I remember a story about Val is that I had just moved to San Francisco, and at the restaurant I was working at the time, we were hosting dinners, like chef dinners.
Yeah.
And so I would host one dinner every day of the month, and we would have a theme of an ingredient. So we'd do peas, caviar, truffles, stuff like that. And he came. I think we did beans. And he's so super nice. I didn't know him, and I just said, "Hey, I'm gonna see if he can come." And he came, and we did a dinner, and I was super excited to meet him, and I'll never forget that. He did me good, man. And ever since then, we got along, and he's invited me to dinners and things like that.
He got 2 stars.
He's got 2 stars, yeah. Californios, amazing, and so we had dinner, and
what can you say? What's said at that table? This is like the Illuminati.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. No, I mean it was conversation. Actually, it was about cookbooks.
Yeah,
most of it. Yeah, cookbooks, and what was your favorite cookbooks? I think mostly everybody had a cookbook, and what it take to get one, and the amount of time.
I mean, Thomas's books are incredible. Like the whole set. Like French Laundry changed the game. The new one per se, French Laundry, also great.
Right.
The Bouchon book. I mean, all his books were great. Your book's great. Well, Phil has the Chasing Bocuse book, which is also, people don't know about that, but that's a great book too.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else had a book there.
I think anybody that has a book. I mean, they say there's three things you got to do before you leave, right? It's like write a book, have a son, and plant a tree.
Okay.
Because those three things will outlive you.
Okay.
Right. So, and so I have a son, I have a book, and I had to plant a tree. But
I planted a tree. I have books.
You have books too. Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I like writing. I was writing a cookbook. And we had all the photography done. I had all the recipes done, and then I left the job. So like that project was shelved. It's one of those that it's like one of the regrets I have, because the cookbook would have been nice. Yeah, the cookbook would have, and every chef wants.
Oh, I can relate, man. I mean, there were so many times that I want to call it quits. Yeah. Because you do spend a lot of time, and you don't really know if it's gonna come to fruition. To be honest, a lot of time, money, and effort, and but yeah, it was we wanted to scratch it. We couldn't find either an agent, we couldn't find a publisher, and trying to put all those all the information together was a lot of work. But the minute we did sign with the publisher and they inserted all the photography, was incredible. It came more real in that moment. Yeah, and I'm so happy I stuck with it. Yeah. Super, super happy, man.
I want to go back to Pebble Beach, doing the dinner tomorrow, and kind of the circuit.
Yeah.
A lot of chefs are on the circuit. Right now you're heavy on the chef circuit, right? Doing the guest chef dinners, what are some things that like make you say, damn it, and like this one's not going to be fun, and other ones like, these guys set me up.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the do's and don'ts for chefs that are listening, that are thinking about inviting you to dinner? Like, what makes a guest chef dinner smooth, and what makes it not smooth?
Well, I think they've all been pretty smooth. I think it's the prep, right? I mean, that's one thing for me is that
do you prep there and ship it, or do you prep on property?
No, I'd prep it on property. I try to ship some stuff if it's going to be a big dinner. But for the most part, I just send recipes, and they either get all the mise en place or start some of the easy recipes. But there's always questions, right? But I think, sending recipes has helped. Prep list, just as much detail as possible. I mean, remember, you're working with a new team, and they've never met you until you get there. Right. So they get this kind of, list ahead of time. But
do you have a formula like? Certain dishes, like this one always works.
Yeah. I'm starting to. I think at the beginning, when I was doing the dinners, I was like, that was too complicated. Maybe I should, keep it more simple. Maybe, and at the end, it's kind of giving an experience to the guests. Yeah. And they're there to, either have a book, get a book, meet me, support the restaurant that I'm cooking at, and so. Yes, it's about obviously the food and have a good time, but we still have to execute it, right? So it has to be thought out and.
Has it ever gone bad?
No,
never, not even once.
No. I mean, there's mistakes that that happen in the back that we don't even want to talk about. But no, I think for the most part it's been great. Yeah. And to be honest, the guests are very supportive, very, very nice, and the staff. I think as a cook, for me, I remember I did this when I was working at Cyrus. We did when the the tsunami in Japan happened. Yeah. So Chef Doug, he owns Cyrus. We did a collaboration dinner, and Douglas King, and he brought chefs from I think he brought Corey Lee, David Kinch from Manresa at the time, and somebody else. But that was the first collaboration dinner that I was part of. And I was super excited as a cook, right? To meet other chefs that I wanted to work for too. Right. And so I can imagine, this is, everybody's like, oh, I get to see a different type of cuisine. I get to meet somebody new. It's not your normal day to day. We're prepping, we're talking, we're having a great time. They're asking me questions, I'm asking them. So it's it's that camaraderie, and then we go into service and they're excited to plate something different and things like that. So for me, it was exciting to do that as a young cook, and I'm sure it's exciting for them. So I'm just glad that every kitchen I stepped into, everybody's excited.
Gabe and I were talking about these dinners because sometimes, like, the chaos is like people doing shit for the first time. They like how chefs are. It's like, I want to impress the other chefs that are there. So they're showing up having never done the dish before.
Oh my God!
And it's like you don't even know if it works.
Dude, that was. I'm not gonna be honest, man. That was me when I first started as a chef.
Yeah.
My first chef job. I wanted to just. I mean, and you know, you're young. You want to.
Got the S on your chest.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and everybody's looking at you like, you know.
Do you
like
deserve to be here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So. Yeah, that was definitely me, and I want to do that. And, you know, at the end of the day, it just comes with confidence. You're like, you know, not that you don't care or you're not gonna try it, but I think it's about networking, meeting people, and having a great time. But also, you know, if you can, you know, do an amazing dish, it's obviously, you know.
So there's two types of guest chefs when you're doing the dinner,
right?
And then when you're doing a food grazer where everyone's just getting a little bite,
right?
A big festival, and everyone's just taking a little canapé or whatever. Do you have a different strategy when you're doing the bites?
Yeah, when I'm doing the bites, I usually do something out of the cookbook.
Yeah.
And so it's usually 2 to 3, you know, bites, and it depends on the setup. You know, sometimes you can't really cook outside, can't have anything hot, things like that. And then we're actually doing the dinner. You kind of want to, you want to kind of show off a little bit, you know, specifically like if you're doing a tasting menu, depends on the city. Like every time I come to Austin, you know, we did a dinner. I'm sorry, it's Texas, but we did a dinner last month in Houston with Aaron, and we were using some of the barbecue grills there. So maybe take something from the city that you're at. So a little bit of inspiration. It's always good.
Yeah, so. It's funny. I do. I haven't done a food grazer event in like 2.5 years. I think the last one I did, I was in the booth next to Aaron. All right, so Aaron's next to me, and I was in the VIP section where people. So they're saying like, you're not going to do more than 250. You know, there's 800 out there, but you guys are VIP. You do 250. Yeah. And I don't remember what I was doing. I was doing like a grilled cucumber with something, right? And I ran out of cucumber, and there was more people. Like I had counted my cucumbers, and you always want to run out anyway.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to take anything back.
Yeah.
But I had run out, and my assistant was like, I had 2 assistants that they give you. You know, sometimes you go to these events, they're like, here's a student and here's someone else volunteer, right? And I had run out, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And the one of my friends that's a chef. He's like, have some I had some meat. Like, he's just slicing, like, I have so much. Like, just take some meat. Just serve the same sauce, whatever. And so in the middle of running out, I switched it. I was like, what would you like? The cucumber? Would you like some meat? They're like, the guests were like, what should we get? I was like, get the meat. And I'm like, And the people that were next to me and Aaron was watching too. And the guys were like, that was so slick. Like, you made it look like, I was like, I just sometimes you just gotta like lean into it,
right? Yeah. I mean, that's always scary, man. Like running out of food.
Yeah, wow. And it was early. Yeah, it was like an hour and a half in, and I'm already out.
Well, you don't know. I mean, if you do a good dish, it's almost not that good because you start running out because there's no limit, right? So somebody can come back 4 or 5 times, and I mean, we served brisket tacos at Pebble Beach, and you know it was supposed to be I think 350, and we probably did 450 to 500 tortillas. And
did you run out?
Pretty much, yeah. So we were just doing brisket. I mean, nobody, everyone's there to have.
And then you say sorry. Yeah. I used to position myself next to like the most popular booth.
Yeah.
So like if they allowed me to pick where I was going to be, I would like put me next to like Aaron Franklin or something. So I know he's going to have a long line.
No, I mean it's those events are pretty cool. Yeah, I always love doing them.
You always finish a little bit. You leave the students, and like, I'm gonna go walk around.
I'm gonna go walk around.
You guys clean up.
Yeah, I always say, you guys are gonna work, and I'm gonna network.
So. Yeah. I used to do a chef's PSA. It was like the price you pay to get to go to the food event. Yeah, you got to clean up.
Yeah,
you got to clean up for the chef.
I know.
Like, sorry, you get to go. You get to hang out with. You get to network. You get to become like. You're in the inner circle now. You get to network, meet all these chefs that you never knew, but you got to clean.
Yeah, and you should come 1 year, man.
So Pebble Beach, if you're listening, invite me.
Yes, please. You should. The amount of chefs that are there.
Yeah.
That I think you would enjoy. I mean, I'm sure you know most of them, but the other side that you don't, oh man, it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be fun.
I went to last month. I was at Tucson, so I did an event in Tucson for the Cookbook. So this was not, it wasn't chef related per se. There was the booth that I was at that I did a demo was all cookbooks. So it was probably six.
I think Kevin's from Tucson.
Is he really?
Yeah, you were just saying earlier.
I did.
Yeah, you met him out there. Yeah. Kevin Fink, I know he's from Arizona. I think he's from Tucson.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's got some of that, like you see some of that Sonoran influence
Yeah.
in his food. That's where he gets it from. I'm thinking I might be wrong. Kevin, if I'm wrong, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. We did an event out of the Cookbook. So it was an author event. So that was the second one that I've done. And there was a booth of somebody doing a podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there was a booth, and he just kept going. So every time I passed by, he had somebody else doing somebody different doing a podcast. There was a band singing, and then there was the culinary stage. So there was I did it. It was a 2-day event, and so I did one of the demos for about an hour and a half. So. But I got to tell you, man, like doing those author events, it's a different demographic than what I'm used to. Usually you go. Well, you usually go to Pebble Beach and dinners and stuff, and it's all chefs, foodies, stuff like that.
Right.
And this is more of an author, writer, journalist kind of take on it. And so I'm at a tables, with a marine biologist, a medical doctor. There's a gentleman that was a warden for 30 years in jail, and he's got a cookbook about jail and what he went through. So all these different walks that I wouldn't be in the same room unless I would have had a book, right? So
right.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's cool. Because you start to have a conversation, and now you have something to connect with. Otherwise, how would I have met a warden unless I wouldn't have met a warden. So it's,
right. Like,
yeah.
Who knows a warden? I don't know.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing ride with the book.
Yeah. It's introduced you to a lot of people.
To a lot of different people.
New cities, travel.
Right.
Would you say that before you wrote the book and after you wrote the book, it's like you have a different perspective on the business?
Of like writing the books or just the industry?
I could rephrase this a little bit. Like, before you wrote the book, you were Chef Rogelio.
Yeah.
After you wrote the book, you are still Chef Rogelio,
Yeah.
but now there's a public persona attached to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How much of that had to change? Or has it changed at all? Or have you felt any pressures of that, of now being a public-facing figure?
No, I mean, I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I think just, I get so caught up in the book and the writing, the photography, and what it kind of meant to me to put it out. I've never actually, like, it's sometimes it's very hard to look at it from the outside in. But I do have to remind myself about, what it means, obviously, to me, but for what it means to a lot of people. I mean, I get so many messages out of, young Hispanic cooks for the most part. Very, very excited, proud, and such an inspiration, man, for them, that there's an open door for them to do the same. And so I think it's, I didn't realize what it would mean. I was just kind of going and saying, I want to write this book, and the industry, we kind of went through a lot in the pandemic, and I want to, kind of showcase my recipes, things that I grew up cooking, the photography, stuff like that. And all of a sudden, like, this project became kind of a big deal for a lot of people. So, I mean, I remember being a young cook and looking at Enrique Olvera's Pujol for the first time.
If I ran that type of restaurant and I saw your book and Enrique's book, they would both be on my brainstorming book pile with tabs and markers and notes. I'd be stealing your dishes. Like, how many ingredients in his mold? Okay,
yeah.
take one out. Now it's mine.
Yeah.
That's what I would eat to it. But yeah, it's a beautiful book, and I think it's every chef should be having that book on the bookshelf. It's along with all those other great books. In my opinion.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it's
it.
on my, I got in my office. I have a lot of cookbooks, like a lot of chefs, but in my office I have few cookbooks.
Yeah.
So I got yours, and then it's like, Cellar de Can Roca, Mugaritz, like it, Bocuse, like it's right there.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
It takes a spot on the.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
On the
Thank you.
big dog shelf.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, you know what it takes, man. What to get a book and.
It's different though because I'm the publisher.
Yeah.
I'm the one-stop shop, so it's just different. But I would love to do a cookbook like yours. That's like a beautiful coffee table book.
Yeah.
Right. It's just when I hear about the process, like I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, and they've always asked me that. Would you do another one?
Yeah. Would you?
I think so.
Yeah.
What
would you do though?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many ideas. Maybe something more fine dining, or maybe more traditional. I think one of those. But yeah, I think I'll definitely do another one. But I don't know yet. I don't know. It takes a lot, and you have to be in the mental state to do it, right? And so, but I've met a lot of people, and I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot more that I wish I would have known back then that I know now to be able to do it.
Are there any cookbooks in particular that you have? I talked about a couple that are on my shelf, but like, what are some of those books that you have on your shelf that's like your go-to? Like, I just need to pull a book and just look at food or tap some recipes.
Well, I mean, I got to say, I've always, and it's because I grew up in that region, but the French Laundry Cookbook, I mean, obviously that's a huge game changer. Other Julia Child's cookbooks. I remember Alain Ducasse's
big fat one,
the big one. Yeah, that was that was one that I think that was one of my first ones that I was looking at because I was working at a French restaurant at the time, and so I would go through that.
I have it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, there's just so many, man. I mean, so many now that come up, and I'm thinking, wow, that looks pretty cool. Even different countries.
Have you seen Andre Chang's book, Octophilosophy?
I don't think so. No,
it's great.
Is it?
Yeah. When I read cookbooks, I read them page to page. Like I read the recipe, I read the story. Like I read it like a book.
Yeah.
And you know this, like a lot of cookbooks are kind of predictable. Like the photo, you could look and be like, I think I know how to make it, and then you read it, it's like, just what I thought.
Right. Yeah.
Octophilosophy is probably one of the first books that I've ever read. It's like you look at the photo and then you read the recipe. It's like I did not expect that in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's a good book. You should check it out.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. Shout out to Andre.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but he's got a great name.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a great process, man.
Yeah.
And the photography for me was a highlight. I'd be able to have photos, visual, and be part of that. It was pretty nice.
Let me ask you this, because I think about this a lot. So I'll tell you a story first. I used to work with this girl, and she was young. She was 18 years old when we worked together. I was her chef, and I sent her off to go work at the French Laundry. So she worked at the French Laundry. This is when Corey Lee was the chef, right? And then she had come back, and then she went to go. I sent her to go work at another restaurant. The chef Anthony Bombacci at the time in Dallas. He was like the king of Dallas. He was the first one doing like Spanish food, like the molecular stuff. And then she went to Brazil, and she worked this great restaurant in Brazil. Maybe it was Alex Atala's. Anyway, then she went to Europe, and like she was 18, and she was out hustling everybody. She's the best chef that no one's ever heard of. You know what I mean? And I think about like, because we've talked about this before, like MMA. Sometimes when you're in the MMA gym and you're like, there's guys in there that never wanted to turn pro. They never even fought in front of a crowd, but they fucked everyone up in the gym. Like they were the guy that knocked out the pro fighter, and it was like, ooh, he got knocked out. I was like, man, if you only turn pro, you'd be the UFC champion. Like, I don't want the limelight. There's a lot of chefs like that too.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of. And they could cook circles around people. Yeah. They're better than the executive chef that has the name on the door, right? And everyone knows in that kitchen, like, no, that's the one.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want them, or he or she don't want the limelight.
Yeah.
They're the one.
Yeah.
Everyone learns from them. Are there people like that you've worked with in your
Oh, so many, man. So many. When I started,
people you could give a shout out to?
yeah. This guy, he's got to be in his 60s now. He's still cooking. Oscar Garcia.
Yeah.
Goes by the name of Toro Mix.
Toro Mix.
Yeah. So I know him when I first started cooking in Napa at 15.
Yeah.
He was one of those kind of senior cooks. And he would work up at the meat station, and it was like 250 covers and by himself. And I ran into him maybe when the book was out, maybe a month out, and then I gave him one. I went to eat at the restaurant that he was working at, and he came, and I was with a friend of mine, and he came out, and I gave him a book, and super exciting, but definitely an amazing cook. But yeah, he can cook anything, multitask, just a beast in the kitchen. But I remember that all through my career growing up, like so many of these guys can just cook so good, and
they know like the chef's food better than the chef.
They do. They know everything, like covers, how to get it out. They're never in the weeds.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like second nature to them, and they've been doing it for a long time. But yeah, I mean, so many of them that I can kind of shout out, and still doing it today. Yeah. Still doing it, which, yeah.
It's wild. I look at like someone's like, I've worked with some of these people, and I remember there was this one chef that I worked under, and he worked under me. He was so good. He knew my food better than me. He actually like the sauces.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this. He like, chef, like this. Yeah. That's it. That's my sauce, but you made it, right?
Yeah. And sometimes you being a good cook doesn't mean you're going to be a good manager.
No, that's true too.
That's tough, man. Yeah. Managing people is tough.
Yep.
I mean, I always say this. I'm forever a student of being a leader.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
What's the hardest part, you think?
I think people believing in you, and believing in the vision, and
you mean the people that report to you, or the people above you?
Just everybody, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to lead the team as the chef, right? Like you're the one that has to, above, below, sideways, like you have to make it happen. And so I think getting everybody from the beginning to believe in it, and then 1 year goes by, 2, 3, and then just making sure that everything's still consistent. And that's the challenge. But getting people that think like you and want the same things that you want, it's crucial when you're hiring. I think it's important, because it makes it easier on communication and everything else.
Right.
But yeah, but they also, they have lives themselves, right? So they're going through their life, and you have to be aware of that. Mm-hmm. So
how do you structure the vision for your team currently?
Well, I think they already come in with a vision themselves, and who they want to be in the future, what they're going to get out of the restaurant. So I think it's better that way too, right? So they know that they're going to come in, they're going to work hard, they're going to learn as much as they can. Sometimes we collaborate on the menus, or they have ideas, and it's that kind of food talk, and that kind of culinary artistry. And then, but they already know that from the beginning, from the minute they walk in the door. So, and it's just about, I guess, keeping them focused, but most of them already have, if not all of them already have that in them to become great.
Do you think when you're building a team, like what's your strategy? Do you mix it up with people that want to be chefs, people that don't want to be chefs? Meaning like they just want to cook. They don't care about the leadership. Just want to, like we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
How do you mix your team up, or do you look for people specifically that want to be in your shoes one day?
Well, they all want to be chefs to a certain extent, or at least they have some sort of a purpose. If they don't want to become chefs, they want to do a good job. Whether it be just being whatever they want to do, So, but I think setting the expectation of like, hey, it's gonna be a long road, and the hours are long. It's, the expectation is pretty high, and you're not maybe are able to take your birthday off and Christmas and all that kind of stuff. So just setting that expectation from the beginning, but also me being there with them, present, and I think means a lot to them too.
What is something about the industry that you think people that and especially at your level, that maybe people need to know now before you put your whole life into this?
Well, it's a long road, right? And you know that, right? It's a long road of sacrifice, and you miss a lot out of this industry. So, I think that's the biggest thing, and being disciplined is another. Taking care of yourself outside of that work. Eating well, working out, because it's a long time. And I think a lot of more chefs are being more aware of that. But if if you have that, if you're able to be disciplined and from the beginning, have that, and then understand that it's going to be a long road to the top, and you're persistent, you'll get there. You'll definitely get there. And be at your own pace. I think that's the biggest one, and not comparing yourself to everybody else. We all learn different, and some people get it quicker, some take a little bit longer. But it's really at your own pace that you should be getting at it.
And for people that want to move up very fast, because I think that's something in today's world that we don't see. We didn't see when you and I were coming up as cooks. Like, you were on the station for, like, you better give me at least a year on that station before you think you're leaving. Or nowadays, someone's going to come in, and in 2 months they're like, I think I mastered my station, chef.
Yeah.
Can I move? Yeah, I'm ready to go to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that? Do you think times have changed and people are getting better on their stations faster? Or do you think that maybe people just don't know what they don't know?
Well, maybe a little bit of both. I definitely work with a lot of talented cooks. I mean, the talent pool for me, when you do find it, it's a lot more, right? There's a lot more information and resources than when I started cooking. Right. So you might be able to get more things quicker now, right? I mean, I used to go back home and if I didn't know how to cut chives, I would buy chives at Safeway and go and try to get better at them, or buy a potato and try to tournay, and like I would do that because I was terrible at it, man, and I didn't have the time to practice at work. Right. I wasn't that good, trying to learn all these skills. So I would buy that and do it there. But I'm sure there are cooks today doing that too right now. But where I stand on that, I mean, if you're good and you think you have it, then you deserve it. I think that's what it is. I mean, you're on a station. I mean, you definitely want to perfect it, but at the end of the day, it's your loss as a chef, right? If you move too quickly and then you end up at a road where, oh shit, like I should have paid more attention, on that station a year ago or 2 years ago, stuff like that, you're eventually going to run out of that information. So, but if you're moving with purpose and you're always, evolving, getting better, even if you're slower, there's going to be no wall you hit, because you're going to have so many tools in your pocket to go through it.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's time is different, meaning some people get their shine in 2 years,
right?
And then they kind of fade off really quick. Some people take 15 years and then they shine bright.
Right.
Everyone's time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just their timeline is just a little bit different. Some people get there faster. Some people get there slower.
But also, my son, he wants to be a barber, right?
Yeah.
So I tell him all the time, you have, I mean, competition is heavy, everything right now. I mean, being a barber, being a chef, whatever. But him being a barber today, he's got to realize that the competition of his peers, just in that age bracket, it's a lot, right? Like he's got guys that have been doing it since he was 10,
right?
And now they're 19. He's gonna be 20, so they got him maybe on 6 years already. And then you have the guys that are a little bit older, right? And then the guys that are older than that. And then you have the new guys that are in school. Same thing with cooking, like the competition. If you want to be the elite and you want to be better, like you have guys that are just neck and neck there. They're ready to get at it, whether it be taking I tell him like, taking your gas or, charging more. I mean, whatever it may be, you have those young guys ready to go. So it's the same thing with cooking, it's every day trying to learn something.
It's a combination though, like of talent and work ethic.
Yeah.
Because if you're extremely talented, the more time that you have to work on that talent, the better you'll be, right? So if I'm naturally gifted and I also have a longer time preference. So if I could be in the kitchen for 10 plus hours versus the person who is naturally talented but burns out after about 4 hours and then they get frustrated. It's like, I want to, like the person that can go longer will get better over the course of time, because we all know like the more time you're doing it, the better you're going to get. Right. But then there's also the people that maybe don't have the talent but also have that work ethic, and they're like, they will show up every day when it's hard, when it's raining, when it's snowing, when everyone wants to call out sick.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're gonna be there every day. And sometimes that person also beats the person that's talented.
Right.
Because sometimes talent doesn't mean mental fortitude. And I think that's something that people miss in this industry. It is hard.
Yeah.
And there's going to be hard days, and there's going to be days that two people call off and you're working harder. And there's going to be days when it's like the restaurant is full and you didn't plan for it and you had a bad service.
Right.
Right. And the ticket's filled up and you want to cry.
Yeah.
Right. Those days happen to all of us.
Yeah.
But how you take it, can you get through it, or does that break you?
Yeah.
Because those bad services are inevitable for anyone that cooks professionally.
Yeah.
And I think the talent will get you so far, but the mental fortitude to get through some of those difficult days and say, hey, you know what, bad day, learn from it. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? How can I plan for it next time? Versus that was a hard day, I never want to do this again.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the talented people break on the hard days.
Do you think being that committed and consistent is a talent itself too?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, you could almost categorize it as like, you know how like in video games they have like different different attributes. Like their skill is very high, but their heart is lower, right? So it's like these people have like the heart all the way to 10, but their skill might be whatever, but their overall right. The gestalt, as they say, is at a higher level. So talent is just one of the things that you're looking for. It's also, discipline. It's also how do you work clean? How do you get along with others? Right.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
So much goes into making a good cook. It's not just one thing.
Right. Yeah.
I want to ask you about this because this has been on my mind a lot. And we've talked about it offline too. But I like to call it the Instagramification of food. And I'm not trying to pick on any chef because I do this too. Yeah. And I did it a lot when I was a chef too. Yeah. It's like you look at Instagram, and I was on Instagram the other day, and I was like, crudo, and the broken white sauce with the green oil, and it's like everyone's kind of the mini tart, the something sphere with some shaved truffles, and I'm not saying it's not delicious, and I'm not saying it's not beautiful. Yeah, I'm just saying it looks like all the other pretty food, and it almost feels like we've lost a little bit of why we're in it, because I think when you're playing at a certain level, you got to check certain boxes. Like, do I have a mini tart? Do I have bites? Do I have mignardises at the end? Do I have, how many mignardises am I doing, right? How many snacks am I doing at the beginning? And where I think it becomes a little bit of a slippery slope is that what ends up happening is that there's no difference. Like, there's nothing unique about it. It's just like, okay, if you got a high-end restaurant, that's what it's going to look like. This is a little bit of a rant, so I'm giving you a lot of context to why I'm ranting like this. But this is all gotten fast with social media. But then there's restaurants like Etxebarri in Spain that does something completely different. Yeah. They got their prawns, or they got the fish, and it's really simple. Yeah. And you look at what they're doing is like, when did they get number one? Like last year, or the
Yeah.
year before? Right?
Yeah.
Number one is like their food doesn't look like
Yeah.
anyone else's.
Yeah.
Right? Or you look at like when Rene was on top, and you could argue that, you know, he's still up at the top, but his food looked like his food.
Right.
You could say Enrique's food looked like his food, right? Thomas's food looked like Thomas's, you know, Ferran or Grant. Like they all came in with the new style that everyone's like, it doesn't look like everyone else's. It was like derivatives of them. And so my question is, how do we as chefs find a unique way to cook that doesn't feel like everyone else's?
I don't know for the other chefs, but I think the more, at least for me, you know, being in the industry for such a long time now, you go in phases, right? And I want to say maybe this is, maybe, I don't know because I haven't gone through that phase, but maybe a little bit of like Daniel Hum going from, you know, the savory tasting, the tasting menu to vegan now.
Fewer courses,
vegan, into a realm that, you know, I think mastering yourself, you know, and getting to know who you are, and I don't know, maybe putting all accolades aside and just saying, look, if it works, I'm gonna do it because this is what I want to do.
Right.
And I think when you get to that point, like, it's a game changer for you and for everything else. But I think for me in the last couple of years has been of how, and I think part of it was the book, you know, all through my career, you know, growing up in Napa, cooking at a European style restaurants, not really knowing Mexico because of the borders, right? Mm-hmm. And missing, like, it felt like I was missing something inside, made me want to learn more about myself. And so that changed my way of cooking, and it still continues to do so the more that I connect with my roots. And so, but I'm yet to fully master myself in that. And whatever comes out at the end, as far as like dishes, I'm just excited for that to come in the next couple of years, you know?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I truly think that you do, you know, with that Daniel Home analogy, because all these other chefs that we mentioned earlier, the Thomases and so on, like they were already excellent at what they did. And they just said, you know what, I'm going to do me.
Yeah.
Right. That, like, I don't need to prove this to anyone because you know, I'm good.
Right.
Right. And I think when a chef finally gets to that point and they say, I could cook whatever, I don't need to look like this restaurant or that restaurant. I could just do me.
Right.
And I think that's when they have those breakthroughs. So
yeah.
I'm just as guilty, but I also think there's an incentive structure around it. Meaning, okay, if that restaurant that cooks that food is getting awards, I want awards, so I'll cook more of that.
Yeah.
Right. So chefs also are incentivized by the award system, whether whatever award system that is. And then there's the fear of getting eaten by our own, right? Because if you serve something super simple, and I'm just making this up, you know, some beautiful strawberries with something, right?
Yeah.
People are gonna say, like, this dude's serving strawberries.
Well, I mean, but that's part of the, you know, the last conversation we had, man. I mean, it's being patient. Now I've done it, man. Like when I became a chef for the first time, man, I'd done it. I'd put stuff out that now I think of what I did, and I was like, I can't believe I did that. You know?
Right.
But you have to go through it. You have to, if you have a solid team next to you and they're calling you out on like, all you really gonna do is strawberries, you have a good team. Yeah. Because they're saying, you know, they want you to succeed. Yeah. The worst thing would be that you have a team that just, you know, all they say is like, yeah, it's fine. And then you think that, you know, whether strawberries or whatever. But if you have a team, you know, and because the guests will tell you at the end of the day, oh, they stopped showing up, you know?
Right.
So,
and it's an interesting thing because it's like, you know, I'm just going to use the strawberries and cream analogy. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Right. And if you do it right as a chef, it could be amazing, but also all the other chefs, because a lot of chefs, not only are we trying to impress the guests, we're also trying to keep our social status in the chef community. So if we see other chefs like, this dude's serving strawberries and cream.
Right.
But I'll tell you this: if I serve strawberries and cream, all my chef friends are going to be like, this dude's, which by the way, I'm thinking about doing it. That's why I keep bringing it up. All my chef friends will be like, this dude, stick to podcasting.
Yeah.
Stop serving strawberries and cream. But if Marco Pierre White did it, or Thomas Keller, or Renee's doing a video saying, I have these perfect strawberries and this cream from the farm and it's perfect. Everyone would be like, Renee's a genius. You know what I mean? But if I do it.
Well, I mean, again, it's him mastering what he wants to do, right? And not really, I would say caring, but maybe there's a purpose to it too, Like you say, there's the cream comes from this farm, the strawberries he grew, or whatever it may be. Yeah. But it is about that, man. I mean. And knowing where they come from, like where the food comes from, is important.
Michelin has kind of changed. James Beard has changed the way that they award restaurants in terms of like excellence, right? It's great food. It's kind of breaking the mold a little bit. And Michelin has done the same thing. And I'm not sure if everyone's picked up on Michelin's move. Now that they've added Texas, I think they just announced they're adding South. They're really expanding. Texas to me was like the first sticking their toe in the water. Mexico also, in Singapore, the taco place in Mexico, the barbecue places in Texas. And what you're starting to realize is what Michelin is saying. They might not be saying this loud, but this is what I'm hearing, is they're saying it's about doing the type of food that you do and being the best at that type of food.
Yeah.
So whether it's barbecue or whether it's tacos, is this the most exceptional version of that? So what that means, and this is just my thought, what that means is that frees up chefs to kind of break the mold now.
Yeah.
Because now we don't have to have a this and a that and a snack and a tart and a whatever. We can now do whatever we want as long as it's exceptional.
Yeah.
Because that's what Michelin's saying. That's like the food has to be exceptional.
Right.
So that frees the handcuffs a little bit.
Yeah.
To say, and James Beard has already done that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And World's 50, I mean, they do award very, very, very high end, but with Echibari winning, they're also saying like the food has to be exceptional.
Right.
It doesn't have to have all this stuff on it. It could be just some prawns that are perfect caught from over here. It's the story. And so I think for chefs, this is just, don't listen to me. Don't build your business model off what I'm saying, because I don't want to hear shit. So I'm not going to bail you out if I'm wrong, because I could, I always reserve the right to be wrong. But I do think that this opens up an opportunity for chefs, like we were talking about. It's like you said with Daniel Hume, this opens up the door for chefs to be themselves.
Yeah.
And make exceptional food, and the incentive will come if it's exceptional.
Yeah.
But if you make it look like everyone else, I think, and I'll tell you, I have this conversation a lot behind the scenes. People are noticing. You know what I mean? Like, like it's. I'm talking about it because I have a podcast, but a lot of chefs are talking about it, and they're just not talking about it publicly.
Yeah.
So I do think that right now is the right time for chefs that are listening. You have the opportunity to make what you're doing exceptional, stand on your own too, be original, and you will get recognized.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I was here last, man, we talked about Michelin. I don't think
you called it.
Yeah, right. Barbecue.
You called it barbecue. You were 100% right.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I actually went to Oleme.
Yeah.
Last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was my first Michelin star restaurant in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, man. It was so cool to see it from a differerent perspective, right?
Yeah. And it's to the point that I was saying.
It is.
Yeah. They broke the mold a little bit.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, service, food, everything was exceptional. It was so good. So I was excited that I'm yet to go to like a barbecue, actual, barbecue Michelin star restaurant. But I think you're absolutely right. It's and for me, that again, growing up in Napa and Michelin being so present from a young cooks, and me, as soon as I heard about it, I remember my eyes just being like, oh my God, this is what I want to do now. I want to pursue this route. And I love how they're going in the South now. Yeah. Right. And so
I'm curious what that's going to look like.
Yeah. I mean, but you get a lot of chefs that are going to get recognized for that may not have been recognized in the past, at least by Michelin. That people do look at these guides and do go to these restaurants to see and to check it out. And so, I mean, I do it. I use it all the time. I mean, I'm here and I'm thinking, what's open? What can I check out? And But to be able to do it from that region, it's kind of it's nice, man.
It is nice.
It's pretty cool.
So let me ask you this: when you cook, and I'm not talking about in the restaurant, but maybe you're like someone that you're having a dinner party, you're inviting a couple of chefs over, but you guys are gonna have wine. You're gonna have what are you cooking?
Oh, classic stuff, man.
What are you making? What's on the menu?
On the menu, fish.
Uh-huh.
I love fish. So either, I mean, people probably give me a hard time, but salmon, you know, so I love prawns.
Yeah. Are you doing like sauces with it? Simple sauces?
Yeah, simple, like either vinaigrettes. Like I love like chimichurri and, you know, kind of stuff like that.
Right.
Nothing too heavy, man. A lot of vegetables, roasted. Maybe there's a little bit of, you know, either Japanese or Asian kind of twist to them. Soy, mirin, things like that. And that's it, man. I love breakfast though.
Yeah.
So I love eggs. I don't eat a lot of meat. I taste it throughout the restaurant and as I'm going, you know, tasting all the stations, things like that. But it's usually more vegetables, meat, and I'm trying to stay away from bread. I realize that I'm an addict of bread. Like I love bread, and I love bread all my life.
Yeah, bread and butter. That's
oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think healthy eating, man. I love that. You know,
and you feel light afterwards.
Feel light. It's not heavy.
Delicious, the fish and all that.
Right.
So, you know, in my case, if I invited you over tonight for dinner, I'd cook some artichokes, maybe some chicken fat over the top of them, nice bread so you could dip in the olive oil or whatever. On the artichokes, maybe some cured tomatoes on there, maybe some strawberries with my vanilla ice cream, right? Maybe I'll have a piece of fish with just like a lobster sauce on it. You know what I mean? Just a poached fish with lobster sauce.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'd sit around and we'd be like, man, that's simple.
Yeah,
right?
Simple.
So this is kind of where my thought is like, could you not take that style of food and serve it excellent with excellent service in a beautiful setting and still get a Michelin star, even though it's not bells and whistles? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I do gotta say, because I say this because of fish. I think the restaurant, you know, at Auro, it's mostly fish, to be honest. So it is a take on that what we just said, but a little bit more technique. But you know, nicer china.
Right.
Then you add the wine aspect. So it is along. I do the food that we do at Auro. It is how I love to eat, to be honest.
Right.
So
just
there's
more
not
finesse.
A little bit more finesse, more refinement, but it's, you know, it's good vegetables and good cooking, and that's the menu, you know.
If just pick a random big name chef.
Yeah.
Right. They invite you to their house, and they say they're serving what you just said: some fish, some vegetables. Everything's going to be delicious. You know, beautiful dessert. Simple. Would you pay just as much as that as you would at their restaurant?
I would maybe more for the
maybe
conversation.
Maybe more, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting because it's like, okay, when you change the company and you change the setting, and you know there's not going to be any phones, because no one's going to be snapping photos.
Right.
So going back to our earlier conversation, the dinner that you had at French Laundry and the company that's around the table, Phil Tessia, Falcon 2, and all these guys, that is more memorable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, when I get the invite, I'm not thinking of what are we gonna eat.
Yeah.
You know, I know I'm going to the 3 Michelin star restaurant at the French Laundry. I'm thinking of what are we gonna talk about.
Yeah.
It's the experience that I'm looking forward to it. I'm not, you know, the food is secondary at that point. And I think when people are looking for an experience, you know, and so not that the food, obviously, you know, it has to be excellent, but like you said, man, like, I mean, who doesn't, you say crudo, all this stuff, but I think it's about the experience. When you nail that too, it's a phenomenal. Those are the top tier guys, man, those 3 stars, those #1 in the world. Like when you crack that code, wow, it's unstoppable.
And what you find, like if you looked at like what do they all have in common?
Yeah.
The top, the tip of the spear guys, what they all have in common is that they're unique.
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest thing. Like I guarantee you, if you took 10 of the best chefs in the world. What was the guy that you called out earlier? That used to work with you? It was really good, and you gave him a book?
Oscar Garcia.
Oscar Garcia.
Yeah.
Can probably cook better than those guys.
He can cook, man.
He could cook better than
this guy
guys.
had a side job, man. I think he did tacos. He did like catering on the side too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean,
so you take someone like Oscar. He could probably like technically cook better than all those guys, but those guys can put it together in a way that feels like they know how to put it together better than Oscar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those guys can say, no, this is perfect.
I mean, you take it a step further, and I think about my mother, man. I think about my mom cooking.
Yeah, right. Who's gonna beat her?
Yeah,
no one.
Yeah. It's like, or you know, everybody's mom. Like that's those memories, those holiday memories, birthdays, the cooking. It was about that. It was about that experience, that ambience of family and joy. And so, I didn't have it much growing up, but man, I remember.
So then going back to cooking, another way to look at it would be, you could cook for someone like you're trying to impress them, and you're also trying to demonstrate the culmination of your knowledge of all the career that you've had, all the techniques that you've learned, all the experiences that you had. So you could cook for them like, I'm going to impress you, and I'm going to show you what I could do. Right. Another way to cook for someone would be, I'm going to cook for you because I love you.
Yeah. Right. True.
And they're not going to be the same person.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And this one actually might taste better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, every time I go to a house or somebody invited me, it's like, oh, I don't know if you're going to like it. You're probably picky. You know, you're a chef. And I'm just thinking, man, I eat out of a deli most of the time at the restaurant. And I'm just happy to be here and having a hot meal. Yeah. You know? So, but yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I could talk about this subject all day, and I'm having my own moment, and I hope I don't. I know a lot of chefs are like, this dude needs to shut the fuck up this already. I get it. Yeah. You could skip this part, but it is on my mind. It is on my mind because what I'm trying to do is plant the seed. Because look, I'm not going to do it. Like I'm well into my podcasting and chef's PSA career. I'm not trying to do this. What I'm trying to do is just give people a voice and give people something to think about. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do. Is I might be wrong, but I just want people to think about it. Like, if you want to be exceptional, are you being exceptional because this is who you are? Or are you being exceptional because you're doing someone else's food? But anyway, that's rant over, because I know people are probably already tired of me talking about this. But I do want to ask you a couple more questions, Chef. Let's talk about the Chef Rogelio way to cook.
Yeah.
When you're in your kitchen and you're setting up your station, what's on your station when you're working, when you're during service?
Yeah.
You're calling the board, or where do you work?
So I prep with the team through the day when we get the butchery, vegetables. I mean, whatever needs to get done,
and when the restaurant opens, where do you position yourself?
I expedite. Yeah. So just so you can get, you can see the guests coming in, sitting down. You can coordinate the dining room with the managers.
What's on your workstation?
I have Sharpie, highlighters, plate wipers.
How do you make the plate wipers?
Just a little bit of alcohol, and pretty simple. I mean, it's just.
Do you use a sponge or do you use a towel?
No, it's a towel.
The towel,
yeah, paper towel. And then we preset the tickets, right? So because it's a long menu, the tickets are preset. So with the you just kind of take the menu and then you do these tickets, and it's just
scratch it off.
Yeah.
How do you call it?
Order in.
2
tasting, and then the kitchen says 2 tasting, and then we begin. So then it goes.
Do they say 2 tasting chef? 2 tasting
we?
2 tasting. 2 tasting.
Yeah.
Just 2
so
tasting.
it's more of acknowledge, because they can't see the tickets, right? So they have to almost make that mental memory of like, okay, they have 2 squab and then 2 this, whatever it may be. And that's just kind of like how it becomes a sport at that moment, right? You have to be in it and focus and being on top of it. So you can imagine like all these courses kind of going out throughout the the restaurant, and you don't want to miss a course, right? You don't want to skip a course. So it's...
Do you time it or?
Yeah, we time it.
Timing it?
No, so once it begins, you pretty much, as the expediter, you're able to see the time, right? Like every 7 minutes, a course should be going out to 10, unless, they want to wait, or there's wine, or they get up, things like that. So you're just going. There's no stopping it, right? Because we want to get it out in like 2.5, 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then it begins. So, and then, so that's my station, but, and everybody's kind of tasting throughout the day, right? Make sure the sauces are hot or warm. Make sure that, we do, cook the fish a la menu. So everything's got to be seasoned. Sometimes they fire an extra one. So I'll say, hey, you have 2 fired, fire 1 extra. And so we'll taste it throughout the service to make sure that everything's up to par. I think that's the biggest thing, man. It's like tasting everything.
What do you have any finishing salts or anything like that on your sauce?
For the sell, I do a mix of kombu salt, like dehydrated kombu and then salt, and then I also do mushroom salt. Mm-hmm. So we season pretty much all the stuff with either mushroom salts, and I love the mushroom because we do a lot of mushrooms at the restaurant. So we'll do, chanterelles are in season, morels, porcinis, bluefoots. I mean, sometimes it's all of them.
Mm-hmm. You just dehydrate
them and then mix them with the salt, and we'll season vegetables, we'll season fish, meats, all that stuff. So that's
finishing oils.
Finishing oils, just olive oil.
Yeah, a specific one you like?
Ten Brink. They're in Suzun. It's a good friend of mine, so we'll use that.
Yeah. Vinegars? Lemons?
Vinegars, yeah. Lemon. I love vinegars, but I do a lot more just citrus.
Yeah.
So right now it's orange, Caracara oranges, navel, limes, lemons, yuzus. Like right now you get so much. So the minute we can get anything like that, we'll use it and we'll season and with that. Not too much on spices and things like that. We'll use some sauces that we'll kind of get creative with, but but it's like I said, man. I mean, it's really about the product and the ingredients.
Right.
I mean, it's so hard not to use those things in the Napa Valley. Mm-hmm. I mean, strawberries are coming in season now. Asparagus, morels. I mean, there's so much good stuff, and I'm just excited. Every season, I kind of geek out.
What color tape are you guys using? Blue tape, green tape?
Green tape, man.
Green tape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we have to. Yeah. Or scissors. Yeah.
I'm a green tape guy.
Yeah.
I used to be a blue tape guy.
Really?
And I switched to green.
Yeah.
I was in.
It doesn't. I don't know. Maybe the one we were using, but it doesn't stick the same.
Yeah. I was in
you
Puerto
can't really
Rico,
see it.
and I was in the walk-in, and it was kind of a messed up kitchen. I was helping out, and the light bulb was out. Like none of their walk-ins had light bulbs, and I couldn't see. So I was like, "Where's my stuff?" But I realized you could read in the dark on green tape.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
You can't on blue tape.
Yeah.
So it's like it was that moment where I was like, green tape from this point forward.
Yeah,
so now I'm all green tape. We used like the Scotch brand.
Yeah.
Because
when you were cooking, the green tape was a thing too, right?
It was, but I was a blue tape guy.
Oh, okay.
So for a long time, I was like, no, blue tape, blue tape. And then I was like, nah, green tape.
Yeah.
I was catching some shit from some chefs. Like, why are you using this tape?
Yeah.
But do you guys fold your towels a certain way?
Yeah.
How do you fold?
I mean, not a certain way, but we do fold them.
Just fold them.
Yeah, we just fold them. Yeah, they got to be folded. Yeah.
What's something that you do that has either improved your food or improved the efficiency of how you cook that a lot of people don't do, but you do it, and it's like more people should know how to do this?
I think improving the food is not necessarily the cooking part. I think communication.
Yeah.
I think I've been through the years, I really try to get better at it on all aspects. With the sous chefs, with the front of the house, with the guests, like just reading better, the room. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of make the tweaks on the food on that. So for me, that's been a huge game changer. Like back in the day, it's just not that I didn't care, but I wasn't that aware of those things. Mm-hmm. And now it's I've been trying to get way better on the communication part, like through text, through emails, through I mean just being better on all the micro things that you can do. Whether when the guests come in, when they leave, ordering, things like that. So it's important, man. It's really, really important.
Yeah, all the little detailed touch points that they don't even think about. You're thinking about the shit that they don't even know.
And doing it in the moment. You know, when you think of something, just sending that. Because some people, you know, don't want to, or either they're shy or don't want to say, hey, I don't really understand, or you know, and then when something happens, then I blame myself. I'm thinking, man, I should have communicated that better, right? So, yeah, I think that's one thing.
What about something specific like a culinary technique? And I'll give you an example of one is like prehydrating xanthan gum is better than just throwing it in. Or another one that I've told people that I like to do is sometimes you compress herbs in the cryovac machine so they last longer. Is there something specific in your kitchen that you guys do that's like, okay, that's cool? Like when people leave, they're like, oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I think it's the mushroom salt. I think for me that was a game changer. Yeah, because they got so much umami. Yeah, and when we get all the mushrooms and dehydrate it and make it, oh my god! Like you can season some of the most a carrot and it'll taste completely different.
What ratio do you use? Like
3 to 1.
3 to 1.
Yeah.
And specific salt, or do you just use?
I do the kosher.
Diamond crystal or
diamond crystal? Okay.
Yeah.
But man, it's a game changer, man. Like it's so much flavor. Yeah. That comes out.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, you should try it, man. Yeah. You know, because you know, I remember cooking and everybody in my. I mean, I was working at this massive hotel when I first started cooking, and they would do porcini. Powder, right, was a thing, and it's just like store bought, and then doing this is kind of a take on that, but with salt, and it's just incredible.
So you might see this today when you're in Garrison. I don't know if they still do it, but when I was there, what we had them do was we do our salt with a combination of dried wakame and mushroom pellets, like the ones you get at the Chinese market.
Oh, cool!
So we dry the wakame, blitz it, mushroom pellets, and salt, and that was
cool.
So people listening, that was the steak seasoning. Yeah, it was similar to your idea, but we didn't use real mushrooms. Yeah, I like the idea of using.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, man, you're a legend in that place, man.
Yeah,
they remember you, man.
They better.
Do. Yeah, they do, man. They talk super highly of you.
Yeah, that's
funny. They do.
I joke around with them is like they got their Michelin recommend on the restaurant.
Yeah. So
I joke is like if I was there, they would have got. If I was still there, they would have got 3 stars. Yeah, just kidding. But yeah, it's a beautiful kitchen. Man.
It's nice, man. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah,
and I was still a chef then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people tell me now, it's like when I see people now that used to work for me, like, oh, you're so different now. Yeah. It's like, yeah, well, I'm not a chef anymore. I mean, they say once a chef, always, but I'm not active. Like I'm not running kitchens.
Yeah,
and I will admit this. Since I've started doing this, I'm much softer than I was then.
Yeah.
Not like, you know what I mean? Like I just see it different. Like I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you miss it?
Yeah.
Really?
Not enough to go back.
Yeah.
But I miss it. Here's the hardest thing that people don't understand is when you're in a kitchen, I'm introverted naturally.
Are you really?
Yeah. Like naturally, like outside of work, I'm to myself, quiet, you know, I'm introverted. I'm really shy in like when the camera's off, right? But at work, I always played the part, talking to people, directing traffic. And so I couldn't wait to get home so I could no people, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's no people all day.
Yeah.
And that's weird. Like when you're in a kitchen, you're around people, you're cracking a joke, and so what I miss more than anything is the camaraderie.
Yeah.
I also miss the daily mental challenges. Like there was always something to be working on. There was always like, okay, how are we going to make the food better? How are we going to we got a big event. We got you know, there was always like a new daily dragon to slay.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what's some funny shit I'm gonna post today that might make people laugh or might get people to talk. So it's just different.
Yeah, I mean, you deal with chefs all the time, man. Like, do you think most chefs are introverted?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. You just tend to go to that without even knowing it, like the back of the house. Like,
yeah, I think so.
Not even. And when you're extroverted, you tend to go to the front and the show and talk.
Here's what I do notice, because I do the podcast, is a lot of chefs. Not only they introverted, but they're also, they're different when the camera's on, when the camera's off. You know what I mean? I mean, I won't say who, but I've had people on that have like frozen up during the podcast. And they won't, like, people listening won't know that they froze up, but I know because I know them off camera, right?
Yeah.
And I've had people tell me on the podcast, like, I don't remember any of the interview. I was so nervous. I'm like, really?
Oh shit.
Like that, like they don't remember any of the conversation until
Yeah.
they hear the episode because they were nervous. I'm like, wow, that blows my mind.
Wow.
Chefs are introverts in general, and I think that's I think that actually is kind of probably why they went into the kitchen versus the service side. You know, they just want a little bit more control. They don't want to deal with people at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I'll tell you, I have a completely different perspective over the last 3 years of the industry than I did when I was in it. And one of the things with Chefs PSA is because when I was a chef, I'd only interact with chefs at a certain level daily, right? You're at the Food and Wine, or you're at this, like, these are my friends. These people I see all the time. But once I left that and I started doing only Chefs PSA, it's like I opened myself up to interact with chefs that I didn't interact with before.
Yeah.
You know, people that work in all aspects of culinary, whether it's you know, at the diner or the hospital or, you know, a corporate setting. Like, I talk to all of them now. And what I realize is that we have a lot more in common than what makes us different. The food is different, and maybe the structure of the kitchen is different, but the challenges are the same in every kitchen. And just because it works here doesn't mean it works there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times as chefs, we look at other people and like, oh, you know, they're this type of chef, or they're that type of chef, and I don't respect them. And I'll tell you that what I do now, I realize, like, no, like, we're all facing the same struggles.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we're cooking. Like, we're all facing the same struggles in the kitchen. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different, and we have way more in common than what makes us different.
Right.
So it's been eye opening for me to appreciate all aspects of the culinary world. It's really a beautiful industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Even at the higher levels, man, like, you know, I mean, you know, when they speak about their struggles, and some of these chefs that have 3 stars, and I'm thinking, wow, you too? Like, you go through that? I mean, you would think that they have it all perfect, right?
Right.
And it's not the case. You know, we're all human, and we're all trying to figure it out. You know, and the industry is evolving, right? And it's sometimes you're trying to catch up, and I think that's the tricky part.
What is the pressure of the Michelin? How does that affect you?
Well, I mean, pressure has always been there in the industry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, from the beginning, I think the pressure is the pressure, the stress, and all that. I'm a believer that whatever you do, it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it a little easier to deal with, right? But it's not. I don't want to say just Michelin. I just think overall anybody, right? Just the guest.
Yeah.
Just like you say, all these like little things throughout the day of improving, and whether it be on the financial side or you know, on the guest side, the staff, the food. I mean, there's just so many aspects that I think it's the way you deal with it. And for me, has always been being a runner.
Yeah.
It was just going out running, right? Like if I'm feeling it and I'm able to do it, I do it. I try to run at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
But when I get the chance to run for a long time, I'll do a 12 to 15 mile run, and it makes me feel so good inside.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like I did a cleanse from the inside out.
Right.
And I love it. I truly love it. I'll do you know 3 to 5 and you know that's pretty standard for me.
Yeah.
But when I get those long runs, I'm able to reset, think, and all through the run I'm thinking of my week. I'm thinking of the future, the past, and everything in between. And so it just helps me out. Of how to, you know, maybe have a conversation or maybe improve this and things like that, you know?
I'm going to ask you a really tough question. I want to ask you this. At a certain point, chefs eventually move on to something else.
Yeah.
If there was something, when you think about like, okay, if I were to ever move on to something else, what would you move on to?
If I would ever move on to something else, it's funny you ask that because before I wanted to be a chef, I took acting classes.
I remember you saying that last time. Yeah.
And I really wanted to pursue that. I really did. I remember telling my brother when I was a junior, and I had just talked to my teacher at the time, and she was like, yeah, you know, if you want to do this, you have to get an agent, and they have to represent you, and then you'll go to a casting, and you just try out, right? And it's hard but it depends who you know, what they're looking for. Anybody can get a role. It doesn't really matter, right? It just depends on what they're looking for. And I was super excited telling my brother, I want to get an agent. So after high school, I'm gonna pursue this. And then obviously, you know, cooking happened and all that. I think something in film or something like that. Yeah. You know, something in being, but it also connected to food. Yeah. At something, you know, and I've been, you know, thinking about ideas, and you know, it's always on the back burner, right? So so you know, it's.
Could you do both?
I might do both. I don't know, but I would love to do that. And you know, my girlfriend's like, she's saying, you know, you should go to community college and just take acting classes, just do it for fun, you know, as a hobby.
Any producers listening?
Hey guys, you guys out there?
What kind of movie would you want to be in?
I don't know, man.
Movie, you know,
I don't know. I don't even know if it would be a movie. You know, I don't even know what
like
it would
Netflix
be.
original series.
Yeah,
What do you watch?
maybe hosting. I don't know.
Would you watch any shows like or movies that you like? I would like to be in that one.
I think something with food. You know, if I can go to Mexico and you know, either travel and go back to my roots and
so like a Bourdain style show.
Not necessarily. I don't even know. But I think something connected to food. Yeah. You know, and also opening the opportunity for people that may not want to, you know, that their story is not being told. Yes. Right. Either like you said, they're not good on camera, but they do an amazing product that when they would tell the story, or they have a cool story that's connected to food, that you'd be like, wow, I didn't even realize that's how it worked, right? Or something like that. So
I have an itch to make a movie.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I truly do. I would want to make a movie. So if anyone's listening and you want to make
there you go. You're the executive producer, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in it. I would want to make it. So my idea for a movie would be this. So anyone's listening, here's my pitch. Think like a Scorsese-style movie, right? Set in the disco era, late 70s, early 80s. Toxic chef. You know, cocaine era, New York City, throwing plates, doing lines, you know, just like the most toxic chef you can imagine. And then there's like a younger chef watching all this go down. So like, of course there'd be like climax, the chef has a downfall and all that. But like showing, you know, like, think like 80s disco music, like Blonde. Do you think Carlitos Way Goodfellas about a chef?
Nice.
You know, cast like
cool.
Christian Bale or someone like that to be a toxic chef. I think it would be like entertaining. Like I want it to be dark and, you know, tragic at the end. Like of course the guy probably has to die or something that, or you know, fail or like. But this ties into why I want to do it.
Okay.
In the old days, a lot of those kitchens, you know, when we throw the term toxic kitchens and all that, it's like they would do shit in those days that you would never forget, and you would never do that again because it was such a traumatic experience of when you made the mistake. Like I talked about this on an interview I did recently, that this chef used to carry a rock salt in his pocket. And so if you didn't season the food, he would take the rock salt out and be like, your taste buds are not seasoned, lick this salt. And so like everyone in the kitchen at some point had licked the salt. But you never forgot after that, right? And what's interesting about that is just by telling that story, there's going to be people that listen to this and they're going to remember that and they're going to be like, that's terrible, I'll never forget, just by hearing it, right? Yeah. So sometimes making a movie like that, you could put all those extreme examples in the movie. People don't have to experience it
Right.
to know to never do it again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right.
like you could watch a movie and someone falls down or like Final Destination, where they're driving behind the truck with the poles, and it's like you never want to drive behind.
Dude, that got me, man.
Right, you never want to drive behind. The
Every
truck
time I
anymore.
see that, I'd never want to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
But you only had to watch that. So I think
Sure.
you could put some things like that in a movie, make them extreme.
Got it.
And I think a lot of chefs would be like, okay, I'll never not forget the season, or I'll, right? Just so you could learn the lesson by seeing it sometimes versus actually experiencing it.
Yeah.
But I would have to be very careful because I wouldn't want to glorify that.
Right.
That's why I would have to make it a period piece,
Yeah.
like in the 70s.
Yeah.
Or, it's not today.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I put that out there as a disclaimer for anyone listening. Like, that's not today. And I think today we have different methods. We're smarter. We know better. We know how to get more out of people using different tactics from the kitchens that were from before.
Yeah.
Well, Chef, I always love talking to you. I do want to say this while you're on the podcast, is I tell this to people all the time when I talk about you. I say, I've never wanted a chef that I've met to win more than I want Rogelio to win.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Like I mean that with 100% honesty, is that you are one of the most genuine people, humble, talented, a complete package. And you deserve all the accolades that you've earned and you've received, and many more. And I promise you that what you're doing is amazing, and you're impacting people, and your book's amazing. And I am your biggest cheerleader when the cameras are off. Also when the cameras are on. But when I'm having conversations of like who's the next, I have a certain group of chefs that I think these are the next ones.
Thank you.
I put you in that group.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It means a lot. Much love, man.
Where can people find you?
Auro in Calistoga in Napa Valley, my hometown. So.
And on social media?
Chef Rogelio Garcia.
And the book?
You can buy it on my website at chefrogeliogarcia.com.
Awesome.
There's a link there.
Thanks for coming back, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. You know what to do. Make sure you leave 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere, really. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. I've completely revamped the Chef's PSA store, shop.chefspsa.com. My team added a ton of new items. I advise you to go check it out. Just peruse, look around. Maybe you see something nice that you like. Keep supporting the show. Go to chefspsa.com. You get books, obviously the merch, early access to episodes on Substack and Spotify for premium members. We'll see you next week. Hit the porno music.
Yo, it's Andre in the kitchen, mixing, dropping chef knowledge, no fiction, stirring up the beats, heating up the session. Listen close, class is in session.